What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Down Once More. Matt here, and I'm coming at you with our last mini episode before our episode on our Christmas drop, because we know what you all are waiting for is a new episode of Down Once More on Christmas morning. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube, follow on all podcast platforms so you get notified when the episode is live. As always, time codes are in the description, so if you want to jump ahead to a specific topic, feel free to do that. Got that on YouTube and all pod platforms, so we aim to please here. But welcome. This week, we are going to be doing something a little different. Got a few mini Christmas movie reviews I'm going to be discussing. A little bit about what's in theaters this month. If you follow us on TikTok, I did a little catch up there, because when I did last week's streaming when I did the streaming preview for December, on that episode, I left out what was coming to theaters. So I did a TikTok came out like Black Friday, day after that weekend, about what's coming to theaters in December, but highlighting a few things that are going to cap off the rest of the month in theaters, and then also talk about some things coming to theaters in January as well, and some general news, movie, TV news that's come out. So let's get right into it. This episode, that's coming out on the 18th, this Friday, Mufasa the Lion King comes out. The prequel movie about Mufasa's origin and how Scar became Scar, essentially. They haven't highlighted that it's a musical in the trailers, except for the fact that it says it has new original music from Lin-Manuel Miranda. So, excited to see this. I've been hit or miss on the live action Disney remakes. Most of them feel unnecessary. The Snow White remake with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot looks rough. The CGI dwarves look awful. The music will be great. Rachel Zegler has a fantastic voice. She was really good in West Side Story. She's good in the Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I really enjoyed that movie, actually, more than some of the Hunger Games ones. But that movie just looks rough. And CGI, like completely CGI movies, like the Lion King ones, I don't see the need for them, as we've talked about here a number of times. When you do those animated movies that have talking animals and change them into live action, which is still CGI, still animated, just lifelike animation, you lose a lot of the emotion and the expressiveness in the characters' faces, in my opinion. And so it really takes away from what made those movies so charming and great to begin with. But great cast in this movie: Kelvin Harrison Jr., Aaron Pierre, fantastic actors. Excited to see what they do with the roles of Mufasa, and I think I'm thinking T'Challa, which is the Black Panther. Taka, something like that, is what Scar's name is before he turns into Scar in this. So interested to see that. That comes out this Friday, 20th, if you're watching this when the episode drops. And then on Christmas Day, we have Robert Eggers' Nosferatu movie, with Nicholas Hoult and Bill Skarsgård. It looks fantastic. I'm really excited about this. It's getting really good early reviews. A nice gothic horror movie to kick off Christmas with family. Can't go wrong with that. And then the Wicked Sing-Along drops as well, which I don't really know who the in-theater that's a lie. I do know who they're for. They're for theater kids and young children. But as much as I love musicals and I love singing along to them, paying to go to a theater where everyone else is singing along to the songs and you cannot experience the actors' emotion and hear their voices that well, sounds like my nightmare. I say a lot of things sound like my nightmare on here, so you all know a lot of insight on what my nightmares are. But that's something in the comfort of my own home. Like, yeah, give me a sing-along version. I'll poorly belt out Defying Gravity in its chopped up glory in my living room. Zero desire to do that in a theater full of people. But if that's your jam, good for you. Don't want to yuck anyone's yum. You do you. Go enjoy that. Comes out Christmas. I haven't seen how long they're going to have sing-along showings in theaters. Probably will depend on how well they sell. We're coming off of Black Friday a few weeks ago. I'm rocking some Emo's Not Dead Feel Something hoodie. Just some good Black Friday finds. I found as an adult, your Black Friday purchases are primarily just responsible shit. Like primarily I got clothes and I got coffee. And that's about it. They didn't get anything exciting. No new gadgets. Every once in a while, I like throwing in a coffee maker. Give me some fun like that. But no, nothing. Clothes and coffee. But coffee is fun. These are fun things for me as an adult now. So are clothes. I need work clothes. That's how boring it is. It's not even like fun clothes. But it's the exception. I've got a few Emo's Not Dead pieces. Because I love the Emo's Not Dead line. Emo music. Matt Cutshall. Fun fact, if you watched my Apple Replay episode from last week, you saw that in June or July, whatever month of that dropped, Your Broken Hero, that album, tops up there. So there was the announcement this week on Monday, the 16th. It was announced that Wicked Part 2 will now officially be titled Wicked for Good. I have mixed feelings on this. For Good, obviously, one of the most probably the most iconic song of Act 2 of the stage musical. I'm going to try not to get into any spoilers, but if you watched a couple weeks ago, Rayleigh and I's full review on the Wicked movie, and then we get into spoilers at the end of that. Again, time code's your friend. You can either skip the spoiler part or skip to and watch that part. So check that out. I know the part 1 was primarily just marketed as Wicked, right? Until you get to the title card in the movie where it says Wicked Part 1, where they're now giving kind of like a subtitle. I'm blanking on what the actual name is with it. But while they're now given that extra name for Wicked Part 2 is now Wicked for Good. And I don't really know how you do that. Is the first one Wicked and then this is Wicked for Good? Or is the first one Wicked Part 1 and this is Wicked for Good? That doesn't flow. I kind of wish they would have just gone the musical theater route and just did Wicked Act 1, Wicked Act 2. You just really embrace that. Because if you watched our review and heard our thoughts, I thought that in the Wicked movie, they embraced the musical aspect almost better than any other stage musical adaptation that I have seen. It was fantastic. So why not go all in like that? Otherwise, what do we get part 1? A different subtitle? You could do Wicked something bad and then Wicked for Good. And then you have bad and good, that kind of contrast. Even though Something Bad, not one of the most iconic songs. If you do Wicked Defying Gravity and Wicked for Good and like the 2 kind of bookend songs on that seems too on the nose. And I just, I don't know. But interesting. Wicked for Good. People love it. I'm getting old and out of touch, and I hate social media, as I've talked on here before. But so many comments. We will be seated. I don't get it. I'm old. Why are you saying we will be seated? Yes, that's what you do when you go to movies. Yes, you will be watching this movie. Cool. Why did you feel the need to comment that? What did that contribute to society? I contradict myself a lot on this podcast because I'm like, why? I question these things and I say about what annoys me as a grumpy old man. But then I also say that if it does not hurting anyone, you do you. You enjoy you. I'm not going to say that to people's face. I'm not going to comment on people's comments. Say, why the fuck would you say that? You sound like an idiot. That's rude. I wouldn't say that. You have your feelings. You have your opinions. You have your beliefs. Good for you. It just irritates me as a person. But that's because I'm a miserable person. I'm a Grinch and a Scrooge. They were playing Christmas music in my office the other day as they were setting up the tree, and I shut my office door. I don't want to hear that. I'm here to do my job. I don't need a White Christmas playing in the background. Hard pass. But close out. Wicked for Good comes out November 21st, 2025. So a little less than a year to wait. Like I think I mentioned before, if I remember correctly, they did subsequent filming of everything. So filming is done. They would just have some reshoots potentially, and then the editing, graphics, all that fun stuff that they're doing, the post-production. So we'll see. Excited for that. Now, what is coming to theaters in January? Well, it's got a few weeks before then, but why not jump ahead now, right? Not a ton. There are two movies that really piqued my interest in January. The first one is Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. This is the sequel to the 2018 movie Den of Thieves with Gerard Butler, Pablo Schreiber, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Fantastic movie. It picked up, I don't want to say a cult following, but it has got, after it was released on like video, just gained so much traction, and people love this movie. I love this movie. It's a fantastic action heist movie. It's basically a sheriff versus this group of thieves who are trying to rob the Federal Reserve, and the sheriffs who are trying to stop them and figure it out. Great movie. One of Gerard Butler's best ever. O'Shea Jackson Jr. I'm a big O'Shea Jackson Jr. fan. I love Straight Outta Compton, one of my favorite music biopics out there. So good. The extended version is like 3 hours long. Great. Love that movie. Really excited about this movie to come out. And then also on January 10th. So January 10th is the only day like good movies are coming out in January. I saw there could be things I missed, but the ones that jumped out to me that I am intrigued and want to go see is the next movie is Better Man. This is a semi-biographical musical biopic about British pop star Robbie Williams. And in this movie, what they are doing is Robbie Williams is portrayed as a chimpanzee, because Robbie Williams said he always felt as if he were less evolved. And so it just looks wild. He is the only animal character in this movie, and it is a CGI chimpanzee that was motion captured from him. And it looks like a blast and a half. It looks like it's going to be nuts. It's directed by Michael Gracie, who directed The Greatest Showman, which I loved. One of the best original movie musicals out there. Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Zendaya, Kayla Settle. Whoever however you pronounce her name. She played Miss Cottle in Wicked Part 1. Fun fact. But great director. I'm really excited about this. I am going to admit I don't know who Robbie Williams is. However, he must be a fairly big British pop star to be getting a musical biopic with this kind of budget. From what it looks like, just the amount of special effects in it, graphics, and the direction on it looks bright, colorful, over the top, in your face. It looks like a lot of fun. So I'm actually really excited about this. So that Better Man is what it's called. That also comes out January 10th. Those are the two movies I am planning on seeing in theaters next month. One other bit of movie news is that James Gunn's Superman movie, which is kicking off the new era of DC films with James Gunn at the head of that, the trailer is releasing the day after this episode drops on the 19th. It is releasing online. The tagline is "Look up." The famous beginning of the phrase, "Look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman." So I have a lot of hope for this. I really enjoy James Gunn as a director. I think he was able to pack in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies a lot of humor, maybe too much humor for some people, but humor and a lot of heart, and some heavy sentimental notes and emotional notes within his movies. I'm excited to see what he does with, I want to say it's David Cornsweet. My head is saying both David Cornsweet and Michael Cornsweet as the guy who is playing Superman, but I'm pretty sure it is David. On IMDb, the two main people that says when you search is Nicholas Hoult and Isabella Mercado, which is fine. Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor, but why would you not say Superman as the top billed person, as the top cast? It is David Cornsweet. But great cast. Nathan Fillion's in it. Skylar Gizondo's in it. I love Skylar Gizondo. A lot of things, a lot of fun. Rachel Brosnahan, Alan Tudyk, Frank Grillo, and Isabella Mercado, Nicholas Hoult. As I said, Millie Alcock's in it. And Supergirl, good old Raina. Why not? I'm blanking. It's been so long since House of the Dragon, and we did reviews on here. Raina Targaryen. So looks like a lot of fun. I'm really excited for this movie. The first trailer comes out I'm excited to see what it looks like. I have faith in James Gunn. I'm excited for the new era of DC films. They also announced that they will be doing a Clayface movie that is written by... Guys, this is bad. I'm recording it Tuesday night, and apparently my brain is already fried for the week, which is not good about to lead into the Christmas week when I still have a lot of things to do. But Haunting of the House of Usher, Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of the House of Usher, The Fall of the House of Usher, Haunting of Hill House, Mike Flanagan. Guys, that was bad. That was bad. But the Clayface movie, written by Mike Flanagan, most likely starring Alan Tudyk as Clayface. It's interesting because there has been talk of Clayface being a villain in Matt Reeves' the Batman 2, or whatever they're going to officially call that, with Robert Pattinson. But previously they had announced that Matt Reeves' Batman verse, separate from the DC Films one, they're not particularly trying to set it up as a giant MCU type thing where everything is interlocking. They want to be able to tell different stories and do their own thing, which I support. I like having different directors have different kind of creative visions and not being forced to blend everything and kind of match the tone of these other projects. I like that direction of things. So I love Mike Flanagan's projects. Fall of the House of Usher, Midnight Mass, Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Bly Manor was okay. It didn't connect quite as much for me, but I love his work. I love the cast that he brings together. So they don't have a director announced for it. Hopefully Mike Flanagan will be stepping into that role as well. But right now he's just announced as the writer for it. And I think that they say is coming in 2026. So lots of fun stuff there. Now, 2 little short thoughts on some Christmas movie reviews. We're getting into Christmas. If you're looking for something to watch, maybe you find yourself watching. Maybe you watched what was coming to Netflix in November on here on the pod, and you saw Hot Frosty with Lacey Chabert and Dustin Mulligan, good old Ted from Schitt's Creek, and Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls, mixing it up together as a widower and a hot snowman come to life. I have observations on this movie. I'm not going to get into deep spoilers on it. It is an inoffensive movie on Netflix. It's about an hour and a half long. It is a very Hallmarky Christmas movie that's secretly horny or not so secretly horny, because it's all about him being a hot snowman come to life. That can't get too hot. He has to keep it cold. Dump ice down his shirt. Otherwise, he can melt. Don't want to worry about that. But it just has some wild things in it. They have the nice nod where the new Netflix Lindsay Lohan movie is on the TV. And Lisa is like, I think she looks just like a girl I went to high school with. Nice Mean Girls reference. We love Mean Girls on the pod. But there's one point. Dustin Mulligan. I do not like him with long hair. Give me Ted from Schitt's Creek. Him with flowing shoulder-length hair. Weird look, in my opinion. It didn't vibe with him. Interesting casting for that role in general, I felt like. But there's one part. He's been alone at her house by himself. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to get into it. But he's going through things he found in the basement. And then he's making dinner. And was this when he's making eggnog? He makes eggnog. No, he had already made the eggnog. He made pizza. That's what he did. He was making pizza, and he had made his own pizza and put it in the fridge because regular pizza was just too hot. Burn his little snowman mouth, make his tongue melt. And he just goes to her at the table. He's like, "What's cancer?" And then that leads into a thing. So that's a conversation that happens in this movie. Very cheesy, very predictable. There were multiple times I predicted exact lines of dialogue that were coming up next. But I just have to call out, I don't know what Jolo Trulio and Craig Robinson are doing in this movie. Craig Robinson, I love. Daryl in The Office. This Is the End is what he's top billed at on IMDb. But Hot Tub Time Machine, like, he's not a lead in many things, right? But he is a fantastic actor, and I feel like he deserved better than this movie. But you got to get that paycheck. He gets to break out the keyboard, sing some original songs. There's real Daryl vibes. But he plays the hard-ass sheriff in the town that is no nonsense, gonna have a nose for crime. But Joe Trulio, I love. He is so good in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Role Models, like so many things. And he is the other cop, the deputy sheriff. Maybe they're just police officers. I'm pretty sure it's sheriff. In this town. I was like, what are you doing in this movie? But they are the bright spots in this movie. Although there's some parts that are just very cringy with Craig Robinson in it. But inoffensive, kind of family friendly, with old ladies lusting after the horny snowman. I think that's what this is my problem. I'm just going to take a drink, but now I'm getting my soapbox. I'm putting the whiskey down too. Actually, bourbon. But my problem with so many Christmas movies is that you are either so far into this is made for kids territory, or you are in the cheesy romance, so stupid territory. And there's a few outliers. You got Violent Night with David Harbour, right? And you have some kids ones that appeal it to adults too. But I don't know why there is a refusal to just make Christmas movies that can be fun for adults. Now, I'm not saying the Hallmark genre Sunshine and Rainbows Christmas movie isn't successful. It obviously is. It's a cheat code. It has so many views. It cranks so many new ones out every year. But they're all not very good. And they all try to stick in that PG range to kind of appease to the middle-aged housewives and families who just want to snuggle up with their cocoa and watch it. But I want Christmas movie more like the Bad Santa genre, or more in just like do a real romance one of what adults would be dealing with. Or we had a holiday party at work today, and there's one point where the catering forgot the meat tray, and the lady that was coordinating it was calling the catering people and was frustrating. This is a rough story, but there's Christmas music playing in the background, and then you have a frazzled person on the phone trying to talk to the catering about getting things right and everything there. And it was just a funny moment. I'm like, why are there not more Christmas movies that capture this feeling? Because that's what a lot of it is chaos. And it's like, I'm supposed to be festive. That's what the season is. That's what people are telling me. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be enjoying this. Blah. But it's crazy. People are stressed. People are frazzled. That's what happens. Why not paint some real things? Let's get some fucks thrown in these Christmas movies. I don't know what's so bad about that. Why can't we just make Christmas movies for people in their 30s that are okay with a fuck or two thrown in? What's so bad about that? Potentially, we will be talking about The Merry Gentleman, the Netflix movie, on next week's episode. Like I said, trying to figure out some things with that. Recording and editing with the holidays is a pain in the ass. If you don't produce a podcast, you may not be aware, but as you know, with life, things are a pain in the ass. Throw in producing a podcast, extra pain in the ass. But those are my thoughts on Hot Frosty and my speech on Christmas movies in general, which also carries right into my thoughts on Red One. We reviewed it when I mentioned it when it was coming to theaters. This is the Christmas movie with J.K. Simmons as Jacked Santa, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Callum Scott, who is the leader of Santa's ELF force. It's bad. I'm cringing myself. And Chris Evans as someone whose name I do not remember. This is bad. This is how unmemorable this movie is that I watched 2 days ago, who is good at finding people. He is a tracker and good at finding things. But basically, Santa's kidnapped. They have to find him. I don't know who this movie was for. They don't fully lean into like the action, mindless, crazy fun like Fast and the Furious. They tried to throw the heartwarming stuff in there. Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is leaving Santa's employ because he's just not, he's lost the spirit. He's not feeling it anymore. Kids don't try to be nice anymore. The list is growing. And good old Chris Evans, he's a class 4 naughty lister. Pfft, shame. But like, what I didn't like about this movie is the themes and the heartwarming message they try to throw in there is straight out of a kid's Christmas movie. But then the action, some of the things, there's good old, I forget how to pronounce his name, but in Game of Thrones, he is the redheaded person who has the thing for Christopher Hansu or something. What's his name? Christopher Hivju. I was so close. Hansu. I was combining Jeon Hansu, who looks nothing like the red-headed bearded man. Christopher Hivju. I'm not pronouncing that right. I almost guarantee it. Who good old Brienne of Tarth's wildling admirer from Game of Thrones is in this as Krampus. And some of the people in the Krampus thing, kind of creepy looking, not necessarily for kids, but the theme's definitely straight out of a kid's movie. And then there's some foul language. We get some shits, we get some asses, which I get kids these days hear it, and I say way worse. But not necessarily like how they're delivered, and a lot of the jokes or humor would be more for adult movies. Nick Kroll has a small role in this, and he seems like he is playing his character as someone who is in an over-the-top kids' Christmas movie. I love Nick Kroll, don't get me wrong. His character is, it was an interesting casting, interesting choice in it. Just an interesting movie overall that I feel like doesn't really know what it wants to be. I would have rather they go like the hard action, R-rated movie like Violent Night did, and go in that realm. But, and some of the CGI is very bad. Very, very bad. But I will say this isn't as bad as I originally thought it was going to be. Because I had seen a lot of reviews, people I followed giving it half a star, 1 star, 1.5 stars, saying like one of the worst movies of the year. I feel like that's a little harsh. Yeah, it was not one of my favorites that I saw, but there were some action scenes that were still kind of fun. I saw people shitting on Chris Evans in this. I thought Chris Evans was fine in this. The Rock is The Rock in everything. Like, not great, serviceable, menacing action person. But I thought Chris Evans was fine. I thought he did a good job. But that was his, like, estranged dad and reconnecting with his son. All that fun stuff that they throw in it that's straight out of a kid's movie. But it is what it is. It's free on Amazon Prime right now if you want to check that out. Yeah. So Amazon Prime Video technically might be. But if you're looking for a Christmas movie, that's not a bad one. Not a bad one. Some scary scenes for kids. But the last thing two more things, and then I'm going to get the fuck out of here because I still have to edit this podcast tonight and get it out for tomorrow's release. I finally started watching Shrinking. Harrison Ford, Jason Segel, Apple TV Plus series. I heard from people how good this show was, and I've been sleeping on it, and I'm so mad at myself. I finally watched it, binged the first season in a weekend, and it is so damn good. Harrison Ford and Jason Segel are just fantastic. This entire cast is fantastic. Even the younger kid actors, Lukita Maxwell plays Jason Segel's daughter, Alice, and she is fantastic in this. Jessica Williams was also a standout for me, who plays Gabby in there. Just every character is so fun and entertaining. I thought season 1 was going to end on a dark note. It didn't. Season 2 has been great so far. There's 2 episodes remaining. So the day this episode drops, the 18th, is the penultimate episode of season 2. Then on Christmas, they're slated to release the finale of season 2. I feel like something bad's going to happen there, but that could just be the pessimism in me and how I am. So that's how I am as a person. So Shrinking, if you have not checked it out, Apple TV does not market their stuff very well. But this is one of my favorite shows that I have found in a long time. So check out Shrinking. It is so fun. It is so good, entertaining, lots of laughs, lots of sad moments as well, but really, really good. Highly recommend. I'm also almost done with The Penguin, finally. I have an episode and a half left, and so I'll give my thoughts on that once I finish it. But so far, really enjoying it, really digging it. Last thing I'll say, right now, Surviving Barstool has been airing on YouTube and all of Barstool sports stuff. They've been airing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're taking the week of Christmas off, and I think potentially the week of New Year's off too, and then getting back into it. But it's just fantastic reality TV. It makes a lot more sense if you follow Barstool, which I somewhat do. I'll listen to or watch KFC Radio, The Yak, some of the other shows or different personalities. Brandon Walker, fantastic, very entertaining, and college football personality and just in general. But Brandon Walker is not on Surviving Barstool, but it's their version of Survivor, but it's in the office, but it's the added twist that the tribes and the people are people that actually work together, and so they have to deal with that. But it does not stop people from being cutthroat. The production value has been great. There's been a lot of chaos so far. I think there's been 6 episodes. As I'm recording this, episode 7 is out, and then 8 will be out the night that this episode drops. But it's just been great reality TV, I feel like. If you don't know the Barstool personalities, it might not make as sense on there. Will Compton, Bussin' with the Boys, Nebraska alum. Taylor Lewan, former Michigan Wolverine player, Tennessee Titans offensive lineman. They're both in this season. So lots of demographics met by this. But Maria Chofo from Chicks in the Office. So that demographic as well from Barstool. They have a lot of variety, a lot of different shows. But Surviving Barstool has just been fantastic reality TV so far. Lots of enjoyable moments, lots of drama, some backstabbing. It's good stuff. Free on YouTube. If that's your jam, check it out. And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Very media-heavy focus, not really much musical stuff, but hopefully you're all getting some time to relax this time of year and gear up. Next week's Christmas. It snuck up and came up fast, but thank you for spending your time watching, listening to me or us over the years. Really enjoyed it. Thank you all for following. Had some pop on, leave some comments on the Wicked review that really made my day. It was nice to see. So really appreciate when you guys take the time out of your day to leave comments, send messages, cheers me up, puts a smile on my face. As long as it's a nice message. The shitty ones do the opposite effect. But appreciate you all. Thanks for spending another year with us. We'll see you next week for a special Christmas episode, and then the week after that is the New Year's episode. We're kicking off 2025 with Down Once More. So, thank you all. Have a fantastic Christmas. Have a fantastic week. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to go down once more. Later.